Chapter 211. As for why Yi Fengyu was in the low profound class, Yi Qingluo knew the reason. These 2 days Yi Fengyu did not participate in the freshman training, but followed old man Guiyu and trained according to his style. Since old man Guiyu had agreed to take Yi Fengyu as his disciple, he would fulfill his responsibility as a master. Old man Guiyu would not abide by the school's rules and did everything according to his own preferences. He let Yi Fengyu train with him, so those people in the school naturally did not dare to have any opinion. Old man Guiyu thought that Yi Fengyu had completely ruined his foundation in the past few years in the ordinary school. Only by entering the low profound class could he start from the most basic level. Foundation was the most important issue in cultivation. If the foundation was not stable, no matter how high the profound grade was, if he met someone with a solid foundation he would still be oppressed. Just like Yi Qingluo. Although her profound grade was not high, but with her own physical fitness and solid foundation, she had defeated Yi Qingling and Yi Qingqian. This was the importance of the foundation. Yi Qingluo also agreed with this view. Therefore she agreed to let Yi Fengyu go to the low profound class. Following that, the names of intermediate profound class 1 and 2 were read out. In intermediate profound class 2, Yi Qingluo heard Xuanhuan Li's name. Lu Xiaoyu laughed softly and turned to look at the ashen-faced Xuanhuan Li. To be able to enter the intermediate profound class 2 was already considered as an excellent student. However, for Xuanhuan Li she could not be happy at all. Xuanhuan Li clenched her fists tightly, endured the anger in her heart and concealed the displeasure on her face. She had 100% chance of entering the high profound class. If it was not because of Yi Qingluo, she would not have been humiliated in these 2 days of training and would not have suffered the humiliation of being forced to change dormitory. Now the whole school had treated her as a joke. At this time Xuanhuan Li had transferred all her hatred to Yi Qingluo. Just as Lu Xiaoyu was snickering she heard Lu Shuiyu's cold voice read out, Intermediate Profound Class 2 Lu Xiaoyu. What? Lu Xiaoyu could not hold back and exclaimed out loud. Her eyes widened as she stared at Lu Shuiyu. In the quiet training ground, Lu Xiaoyu's voice attracted everyone's attention. Lu Shuiyu frowned unhappily. Any objections? Of course. Before she could voice out her opinion, her arm was pulled by Yi Qingluo. Of course not. Yi Qingluo raised a smile. Xiaoyu had always been not very confident, she was too excited to be able to enter the intermediate profound class 2. Lu Xiaoyu's hand was hurting from Yi Qingluo's fingers, but she endured it and forced a smile. Yes. Too excited. Too excited. He was so excited that his hair was about to stand on end. In the same class as Xuanhuan Liuli? Would he still be able to study properly in the future? Lu Shuiyu gave Yi Qingluo a cold stare and her gaze returned back to the scroll in her hands as she continued to read out the following names. In the end there were only 3 students left. Yi Qingluo, Dong Huanglang, Qi Yijing. Everyone's gaze shifted to the 3 of them. In this batch of new students, there were only 3 who could enter the high profound class. The only suspense was class 1 and class 2. Lu Shuiyu stared at the names on the scroll and looked up. High profound class 1, Dong Huanglang, Qi Yijing. She paused and moved her finger to the bottom of the scroll. Everyone held their breath. It seemed that Yi Qingluo was going to enter the high profound class 2. It seemed that since the establishment of the school, this was the first time that a new student could directly enter the high profound class 2. No wonder she was the disciple of the overlord. Lu Shuiyu's hand stopped at the last line of the scroll. Chapter 212. Yi Qingluo Devil Class. Devil Class? The surrounding students sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Yi Qingluo was allocated to the Devil Class. How could that be possible? Although Yi Qingluo's profound grade was low, but her ability had far surpassed those cultivators in the mystic profound stage. Thinking of Yi Qingluo's heroic deeds. Passing the ability assessment in half an hour. Breaking the academy's record. And challenging Yi Qingling who had already advanced to the mystic profound stage and had the dark forces item. Wasn't this enough to prove Yi Qingluo's ability? Totally not worse than the students in the high profound class. Especially these 2 days of freshman training, Yi Qingluo was the one who completed it the best. The students recalled the dispute between Yi Qingluo and the Xuanhuan family, and being invited to the faculty council. It couldn't be that the faculty council was deliberately taking revenge, right? Elder Yun Xiang, have you allocated the wrong class? Based on Qingluo's ability, even if she can't enter the high profound class 2, she definitely won't be in the devil class. Lu Xiaoyu couldn't hold back as she gritted her teeth and shouted angrily. In the academy, There was a class of gods which was known as the sacred legend, so naturally there would be the devil class which made people tremble with fear and despise. This devil class was the most trashy and useless class in the Heavenly Academy. The students inside were all weird and even scarier than the students in the class of gods. Any masters who stepped into the boundary of the devil class would be frightened by this group of students and would not dare to take another step. But the academy needed such a class to maintain the overall balance of the academy. If there was a mistake when recruiting students or if the students were disobedient, they would be thrown into the devil class directly. Once they went to the devil class, then they would be hooked with the trash. Lu Xiaoyu was so angry that her cheeks flushed red as she clenched her fists tightly. However, Yiqing Luo's face was as still as water, without any extra expression. This is the unanimous decision of the elders. If student Lu has any opinions, you can come to the elders directly to raise it. Elder Yunxiang smiled with curved eyebrows as he stroked his white beard. Lu Xiaoyu was flustered. Elder Yunxiang was obviously making things difficult for her. He was deliberately targeting Yiqing Luo. Just as she was about to open her mouth to argue, Yiqing Luo shook her head at her. Lu Xiaoyu bit her lower lip and puffed her cheeks angrily. Suddenly, Instructor Chu, who was standing on the right side of the student, frowned and took a step forward. Elder Yunxiang, I, as an instructor, would like to raise a question to the elders. Instructor Ho took a step forward. Although he didn't say anything, the meaning was obvious. He and Instructor Chu wanted to seek justice for Yiqing Luo. The dozen masters were in an uproar. Each and every one of them stared at Yiqing Luo with some probing gazes. Who would have thought that the two men who had always been known as cold-faced instructors would actually speak up for a student? Elder Yunxiang's face darkened. What questions do you have? Instructor Ho and I are very clear about student Ye's strength. With her strength, even if she were to enter the high profound class too, it would be a matter of course. I don't understand why the elder quarters would assign student Yi to the devil class. Elder Yunxiang placed his hands behind his back and the smile on his face gradually froze. The students recruited by the Heavenly Academy, other than strength, must also have good moral qualities. It is because of student Ye's strength that created her shortcoming of being arrogant. 2 days after entering the academy, she had a conflict with the students, forced her roommate to leave, and even had a quarrel with the high profound class, and was even reported to the faculty council. One by one he said it as if it was a serious matter. Yiqing Luo couldn't help but laugh out loud. If student Yi can settle her temperament in the devil class, she would naturally be able to return to the low profound class after 1 year. Chapter 213. Instructor Chu's cold and stiff face revealed a trace of anger. This was obviously sophistry. The usually upright and plain-spoken instructor's pair of sharp eyes faintly leapt into a fiery red. Yes, of course. Before he could finish his words, a clear voice interrupted Instructor Chu's words. It's all right, I'll go to the devil class. Yiqing Luo's lips curled up into a faint smile. Her face was calm, without any hint of displeasure. From the surrounding students' eyes, Yiqing Luo could tell that the devil class was probably not a good class. As compared to the low profound class, it was a little lower. Seeing Instructor Chu and Instructor Ho clashing with Elder Yunxiang because of her, Yiqing Luo had already felt the instructor's intentions. After all, they still had to teach in the academy and offending the elders would not be beneficial to them. Student Yi, devil class, that place will bury your abilities. Instructor Chu was extremely unwilling, but he was only an instructor and could only be in charge of the freshmen's training. He had no right to interfere with the new students' class allocation. A real talent, no matter where, will not be buried. Yiqing Luo's lips curled up as she gave a deep bow to the two instructors. I know both instructors are doing this for my own good. It's all right. As a student, I naturally have to abide by the academy's arrangements. The two instructors looked at each other in the eye. The reason why they stood on Yiqing Luo's side was because they cherished the talent. As the ones who trained the freshmen, they admired students with potential the most. But now they admired this young lady from the bottom of their hearts. She was obviously only 15 years old, but her thinking was so mature. So mature that even they were ashamed of themselves. The surrounding students were also infected by Yiqing Luo's words. That's right, gold will always shine. A real talent, no matter where, as long as there was a chance, would be able to shine dazzlingly. Finally, the class allocation was done. Elder Yunxiang said some old words and let the students go back to rest. This was the last rest for the students. Tomorrow morning, they still had to come back to the training ground to continue training. After the training, they had to go back to their own class to listen to the teacher's guidance. When the students heard the news, they all cried and hurriedly dispersed. All of them couldn't wait to return to the dormitory and sleep till the end of time. The lively training ground gradually quietened down. Lu Xiaoyu pulled Yi Qingluo's sleeve. Her face was filled with anger. "Qingluo, why did you agree? I don't believe that if we students join hands to protest to the elders' quarters, they will still insist on sending you to the devil class. Smart people will only choose to protect themselves. Who do you think will agree to protest?" Yi Qingluo shook her head helplessly. Lu Xiaoyu was indeed too young. The status of a student in the academy was considered the lowest. Unless your own strength is enough for the academy to value you. Otherwise, no matter what status one had outside the academy, one would have to listen to the headmaster's teachings in the academy. These students didn't have any relationship with Yi Qingluo, so why would they take the risk of offending the elders' quarters just to protest for her? How can you be so calm? Those who don't know would have thought that I'm the one going to the devil class. Lu Xiaoyu saw Yi Qingluo's indifferent look as she anxiously stomped her feet. Chapter 214. Xiaoyu. Yi Qingluo's calm voice seemed to have a magical power that could soothe the anxiety in one's heart. She raised her pink lips and put her hand on Lu Xiaoyu's body. Her charming eyes bloomed with a coquettish radiance. "No matter which class, it's all the same to me. A person's growth is not just because of the environment, because the class you are in, it will limit your own strength." She smiled, her charming eyes became firm. "My talent, my ability, my determination to become strong, will not change because of anything." Lu Xiaoyu was stunned. Under the influence of Yi Qingluo, her whole body seemed to be burning with a raging fire, ignited. That's right. A person's growth depends on themselves, not others. As long as she was determined, even if the environment was limited, even if there were many obstacles, it would be easily solved. She was just assigned to the devil class. At most, she would train herself in the devil class, work hard, work harder than others, struggle a little more than others. Why couldn't she be compared to others? Lu Xiaoyu's face revealed a smile. She held Yi Qingluo's hand. "Qingluo, I understand. I will record everything that the master taught me and then pass it to you." Seeing that this girl was determined to help her, Yi Qingluo could only smile. "Then I'll have to trouble you." Lu Xiaoyu then let it go. The two left the training ground hand in hand. Behind them, the two instructors were surprised. Both pairs of eyes stared at Yi Qingluo's departing figure. The school has its own survival rules. This is student Ye's fate. You don't have to blame yourself. Instructor Ho, who rarely spoke lightly. He reached out and put his hand on Instructor Chu's shoulder. Instructor Chu glanced sideways slightly. "I just feel pity. This girl will definitely become a great person in the future. She is born to stand on the peak. So, what are you feeling pity about? Believe in her, that's enough." Yi Qingluo and Lu Xiaoyu were on the way back to the dormitory. The surrounding students were pointing and discussing. At first, the two thought that the students were discussing about Yi Qingluo being assigned to the devil class. But listening carefully, it wasn't the case. Yi Qingluo vaguely heard old man Guiyu's name. An ominous premonition arose in her heart. She grabbed a random student and asked with a sullen face, "What are you talking about? What happened to teacher Guiyu?" That student was from the low profound class and was frightened by Yi Qingluo's imposing manner as he stuttered, Master Guiyu went to the elder quarters. I heard that it was because of your matter and he's making a big fuss. No one could stop him." Before he could finish, the student's collar was flung away. He only felt a gust of cold wind blowing past his face, and where was Yi Qingluo's figure in front of him? Behind him, his brothers surrounded him and teased him. The low profound class students only replied with two words, "Beautiful, cool." Yi Qingluo's footsteps were as swift as the wind. Following the memory of the map which she had seen in the academy's booklet, she found the location of the elder quarters. Outside the elders' quarters, there were dozens of students. Standing outside the courtyard, Yi Qingluo could hear the carnage and the sound of things falling onto the ground. A series of noises shocked the surrounding students and caused them to exclaim. Yi Qingluo had just arrived at the entrance of the elder quarters and was about to enter when she was stopped by two gatekeepers. "The elder quarters are handling some matters. Students are not allowed to enter." The courtyard door was tightly shut and Yi Qingluo couldn't see the situation inside. Chapter 215. Other than me, no one can stop Master Guiyu. Yi Qingluo glanced coldly at the doorman. "If you want the elder quarters to become a joke, you cannot let me in." The doorman sized up Yi Qingluo. "You, are Yi Qingluo?" This appearance, this temperament was indeed similar to the rumored Yi Qingluo. Yi Qingluo couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with them. She grabbed one of the doorman's arm and pulled him away. she directly barged into the elder quarters. Lu Xiaoyu followed closely behind and was just about to enter when she was stopped by the doorman. The moment Yiqing Luo entered the elder quarters, her face was filled with sand and dust. She lifted her sleeve and wiped it on her face. Damn. What's the situation? Yiqing Luo squinted her eyes through her sleeves. In the elder quarters courtyard, there was a cloud of sand and dust. The flowers and trees at the edge of the courtyard were blown to the ground. In the midst of the sand and dust, a white figure was waving his wide sleeves, releasing bursts of profound qi. At the entrance of the main hall, there were 6 elderly dressed as elders, pacing back and forth in panic. Old man Guiyu, let's talk it out, let's talk it out. We are all on the same side, why get physical and hurt the harmony? Old man Guiyu sneered coldly, who the F***ck is on the same side? I am here to fight with you bunch of stubborn old fogies. You even dare to bully my Luo lass, you really have the guts. Old man Guiyu, we are innocent. Why don't you come in for a cup of tea first? Let's have a good talk. What is the misunderstanding? Yiqing Luo listened to these words, her face was filled with black lines. It turned out that after old man Guiyu came to the elder quarters, he did not say anything and directly smashed the elder quarters. This temper was simply too awesome. She loved his personality so much that she couldn't stop loving him. Misunderstanding my ass. My Luo lass's aptitude is outstanding, she could obviously enter the high profound class too, but she was assigned to the devil class. Are you blind or are you blind or are you blind? What are you stammering for? If you don't give me a satisfactory explanation, I will annihilate your elder quarters today. Old man Guiyu shouted arrogantly. A gust of qi formed a whirlpool under old man Guiyu's feet. Countless whirlwinds blew the sand and dust all over the ground again. Yiqing Luo choked and coughed lightly, she covered her face and said, Teacher Guiyu, please wait. Girl Luo. Upon hearing Yiqing Luo's voice, old man Guiyu's face was instantly filled with smiles, his figure flashed and he dashed towards Yiqing Luo. The whirlwind in the courtyard also gradually stopped. When the elders saw that the courtyard had finally regained its peace, they all heaved a sigh of relief. Sister. In the corner of the courtyard, Yi Fengyu, who was hiding from the dust, immediately ran over when he saw Yiqing Luo. Master Guiyu, what are you doing here? Yiqing Luo flicked her sleeves and dusted herself off. There was a lot of sand on her face and head. Old man Guiyu immediately stretched out his hand and patted the dust off Yiqing Luo's head. You lass, you have been bullied like this as your backing, I must come forward to seek justice for you. Old man Guiyu's actions were rough. This pat and grab had caused Yiqing Luo's high ponytail to become a ball. Yiqing Luo was helpless, she waved off old man Guiyu's hand. Alright, go back and wash your hair later. She scratched her hair and looked at the 6 elders. She didn't see Elder Yunxiang among them. Chapter 216. Sister, you have been allocated to the devil class, I will accompany you. Yi Fengyu held Yiqing Luo's hand. Before he could finish his words, his hand was flung away. Yiqing Luo twisted his ears. What nonsense are you talking about? You came to the academy to become stronger, not to accompany me. Listen to Teacher Guiyu's words, if he wants you to go to the low profound class, you'd better stay there obediently. Guiyu leaned forward. I think let him go to the devil class. He still couldn't finish his words. Because Yiqing Luo raised her eyes and stared straight at him. Guiyu coughed a few times and looked away. That's right, kid, your foundation is not good enough, you have to train your foundation in the low profound class. Yi Fengyu covered his ears in pain and responded repeatedly. Yiqing Luo then let go of him and looked at the 6 elders. Elders, I'm sorry for causing you trouble. No trouble, no trouble. At this moment, there was only one thought in the minds of the elders. As long as old man Guiyu was taken away, everything was no trouble. Lass, what are you apologizing for? Old man Guiyu lifted Yiqing Luo's collar. This bunch of stubborn old men, how dare they put you in the devil class? Alright, Teacher Guiyu, I know you are doing this for my own good, but this matter has nothing to do with these elders. Yiqing Luo comforted him softly. It's alright, I will go to the devil class, which class is not important to me. Nothing to do with these elders? Could it be other elders? Old man Guiyu caught the main point. Tell me which stubborn old man assigned you to the devil class, I will go and chop him up right now. I'm old, teacher, at most you can come to the devil class and be a teacher. Yiqing Luo caught a glimpse of the elder's nervous expressions and held old man Guiyu's arm as they walked towards the direction of the door. Upon hearing this suggestion, old man Guiyu clapped his hands happily. That's right, why didn't I think of that? I will be a teacher for you. There was no teacher in the devil class. If old man Guiyu was the teacher, no matter how weird the students were, they would definitely be tamed by him. The devil grew 1 foot, the way grew 10 feet. Yiqing Luo finally convinced old man Guiyu. The 3 of them left the elders' department. The 6 elders all patted their chests and they could finally breathe more easily. Unexpectedly, old man Guiyu cared so much about that female student. He did not know who the female student had offended to be forcefully assigned to the devil class. This female student's aptitude and potential was indeed enough to enter the high profound class too. Unfortunately, sigh. The elders shook their heads and helplessly began to clean up the mess in the courtyard. Yiqing Luo was sent back to the dormitory by the duo. With old man Guiyu around, there were no rules. Without a second word, he forcefully entered the female dormitory area and arrived at Yiqing Luo's dormitory. Sister, do you really intend to go to the devil class? Yi Fengyu pursed his lips, his face showing his unwillingness. Big sister was obviously so powerful, so why did she have to enter the academy's most useless class? If word of this got out, the 2 from Three Springs Manor would probably mock her again. Little Luo, that class isn't the class you imagined. You better think about it carefully. Old man Guiyu cracked his knuckles. If you don't want to go, I can transfer you to High Profound Class 2 anytime now. Chapter 217. Old man Guiyu's angry face gradually calmed down. After a moment of silence, he smiled again. I'm just a low-level teacher in the academy. I just eat and drink in the academy. Old man Guiyu was still the same, laughing like a lunatic. But in his eyes, Yiqing Luo caught a sliver of, Teacher, although I've never been to the academy, I still have some understanding of the rules of the academy. Yiqing Luo pursed her thin lips. You are the academy's master, and yet you are making such a big fuss with the elders because of me. If it reaches the director, she could feel old man Guiyu's intentions. That was enough. It was just a devil class. There was absolutely no need to cause Guiyu to be forced to leave the academy for such a small matter. I don't know your status in the academy, but I do know that the elder department has a high status in the academy. Even if they were willing to submit to you in front of you, you still caused a scene in front of the students, causing them to lose face. Ha! Luo lass, are you worried about me? Old man Guiyu patted Yiqing Luo's shoulder heavily. Don't worry, I'm more than enough to deal with those old fogies. Even if the dean comes, I won't give him the cold shoulder. Yiqing Luo was even more curious about the identity of old man Guiyu. It was said that old man Guiyu's position in the academy was second only to the dean. But he wasn't even afraid of the headmaster. What was his relationship with the dean? Alright Luo lass, I'm going to be a teacher in the devil class. I won't leave the academy so easily. Don't worry. Old man Guiyu wasn't willing to reveal his identity and Yiqing Luo wasn't one to force him, so she didn't continue asking. Old man Guiyu would never speak without confidence. Since he was sure that he would not be punished, he would definitely be fine. The devil class shall be the devil class. I will stick to my original heart and will not be affected by anyone, anything, or any environment. Yiqing Luo turned her head to look at him. My fate is up to me, not the heavens. Fate is in my own hands. It's not like I'll be able to soar to the skies if the academy arranges for me to be in the high profound class too, and it's not like I'll be unable to recover from the setback if the academy arranges for me to be in the devil class. Hearing this, Yi Fengyu's eyes suddenly widened. There seemed to be a lofty aspiration spreading from the bottom of his heart. My fate is in my hands, not in the hands of the heavens. Little Luo, I knew from the first glance that you were a dragon among men. It's this personality of yours that makes me love you deeply. Old man Guiyu laughed and applauded. They talked for a while. After all, this was a female dormitory. If a roommate came back and saw a man in the dormitory, it would not be good. The 2 of them left. Old man Guiyu left excitedly to apply to be the teacher of the devil class. The dormitory became quiet. When she returned to her room, her spiritual sense entered the azure dew bracelet and she began to cultivate. She had to break through the mystic class as soon as possible. Stuck at the 9th level of the Yellow Shen realm, unable to break through that barrier no matter what. This kind of feeling was simply too unbearable. Although this body, after purification, was much faster in cultivating Shenqi than ordinary people, it was still not enough. But after all, it was impossible to become fat in one bite when it came to cultivation. If he wanted to break through and advance, he had to find an opportunity to advance. The more anxious he was, the more irritated he would be. It could easily lead to qi deviation. Yiqing Luo took a deep breath and suppressed the impatience in her heart. She closed her eyes and began to absorb the spiritual qi in the azure dew bracelet. She calmed her heart and circulated the xianxia in her body to blend with the spiritual qi. Gradually 4 hours had passed. Yiqing Luo opened her eyes, her face revealed a frustrated look. Why did she always feel that the barrier to advance, but she could not touch it no matter what? Chapter 218. Girl, cultivation is taboo to be impetuous. Old man Tsang sighed when he saw Yiqing Luo's tightly knitted brows. I know. Yiqing Luo took a deep breath and raised her hand to press down on her chest. She felt her heartbeat and the profound jade heart's aura. There are too many things I want to do. The more I think, the more impatient I get. She wanted to improve her ability. If she didn't have absolute strength, even if she found the whereabouts of her profound jade heart, she might not have the ability to take it back. She wanted to improve her strength and release the suppressed power of Qi after the contract with her. After improving her ability, the ability to control the heart fire during refining would also improve, which would help her rush to the level of Pill Sovereign. The profound Qi in your body is enough. If you want to advance, you have to find the right opportunity. Old man Tsang said, this opportunity may be your daily training or when you are cultivating or when you are fighting. These opportunities can't be rushed. Yiqing Luo nodded, looking a bit tired. Then? Why don't I try to challenge the second level of purgatory? Perhaps, in the process of the challenge, she might be able to advance. With your current state, you should rest for a while. When you can use teleportation freely, you can give it a try. Old man Tsang shook his head. The first level's challenge is not even 1/10 of the second level's danger. This old man can't let you take risks that you have no confidence in. Yiqing Luo knew that old man Tsang was thinking for her sake and didn't insist. After withdrawing her consciousness from the azure dew bracelet, Yiqing Luo opened her eyes. When she opened her eyes, she was met with a pair of long and narrow eyes that were as black as ink. Almost subconsciously, Yiqing Luo's palm moved, gripping the glower flame fan and attacked forward. However, her lightning-fast hand was intercepted in midair. The glower flame fan left her hand and fell into the other's palm. Luo, you're finally back. A low and hoarse voice whispered ambiguously in her ear. Yiqing Luo fell into a familiar embrace. A fresh and elegant sandalwood scent filled her nose. Yiqing Luo's originally stiff body gradually relaxed. Just coming out of the azure dew bracelet, her mind was still in a mess when she suddenly saw someone staring at her from the bed. Yiqing Luo subconsciously thought that another killer had sneaked into her room. Unexpectedly, it was Diamo Xian. Could it be that this body of hers was already completely familiar with Diamo Xian's scent? She had not sensed Diamo Xian's existence within the azure dew bracelet. Yiqing Luo turned her head and looked out of the window. The sky was not dark yet. Why are you here so early? For the past 2 days, he would only appear in the middle of the night. Of course I miss Luo. Diamo Xian's lips curled up as he circled her tiny body. Luo seems to be in a lot of trouble in the academy. Do you need me to help? He lifted Yiqing Luo's lower jaw as their eyes met. That fiery gaze fell on her delicate face. That pair of long and narrow peach blossom eyes that were like a pool of spring water revealed a charm that made one unable to look away. No need. Yiqing Luo shook her head as she raised her hand to cover his eyes. If this pair of eyes continued to stare at her, she was afraid that she would not be able to control herself. Let nature take its course regarding the academy's matters. If I needed help, I wouldn't have rejected teacher just now. She didn't want to rely on others for everything. Blindly relying on it would only cause one to stagnate. No matter what troubles there were in the academy, she wanted to rely on herself to solve everything. Chapter 219. The southwest of the West Continent was a place called the Magic Beast Forest. The Magic Beast Forest, as the name suggested, was a place where magical beasts roamed and all kinds of heroes captured the beasts. Why did you bring me here? Yiqing Luo frowned. As far as the eye could see, apart from the lush foliage of the trees, there were only trees. He could vaguely see groups of mercenaries coming and going. Diamo Xian stood behind her with one arm around her waist. Luo, aren't you worried about how to advance to the profound grade? You mean, here I can find a breakthrough opportunity? Yiqing Luo's eyes brightened as she turned to look at the man behind her. At this time, both of them had put on a mask, two ordinary faces that couldn't be more ordinary. But no matter how ordinary the face, it couldn't conceal Diamo Xian's innate noble temperament. especially his pair of narrow peach blossom eyes, which revealed a breathtaking charm. This ordinary face and this pair of eyes were completely incompatible. Whether you can find a breakthrough opportunity or not, it's all up to you. Dmo Xian's lips curved slightly as he leaned down and whispered in her ear, "You have one night's time. I will send you back to the academy before tomorrow's training. So, don't even think about sleeping tonight. But if you can find a breakthrough opportunity, it's worth it not to sleep." The breakthrough of each profound grade was the most difficult hurdle to cross. Some people could cross it in one day. Some people spent their whole lives and still couldn't break through. This was a person's fate and luck. Yiqing Luo didn't want her profound grade to be stuck at the yellow profound grade, unable to cross the hurdle of profound grade. She absolutely complied with Dmo Xian's suggestion. She didn't realize that at this time she and Dmo Xian's posture was very intimate, like a loving couple. Several groups of people who were heading into the depths of the magic beast forest would occasionally turn their eyes to them. Once they saw that there were only two of them with an ordinary appearance, they disdainfully looked away and walked straight into the magic beast forest. The magic beast forest was divided into 7 levels. The first level was the outermost periphery of the forest, where the low-level magical beasts lived. The second and third levels covered the low-level magical beasts and a few intermediate-level magical beasts. The fourth and fifth levels were where mid-level and high-level magical beasts gathered. There were also very few magical beasts. Once they reached the fifth line, the mercenaries would not dare to venture outside. Unless all the mercenaries in this mercenary group were at the mystic realm, perhaps they would dare to take the risk and test the waters at the 6th level. The 6th level was filled with ferocious illusory beasts. As for the 7th level mirage beasts, it was said that they were like humans and had human consciousness. They could speak the human language and live like humans. Of course, there were rumors about the 7th level, but they were just rumors. No one had ever confirmed it. For many years, no one had been able to come out of the 7th level alive. If this ordinary couple came to a dangerous place like the magical beast forest, they would at most be able to wander around in the 2nd tier. It would not affect the interests of their mercenary group. These mercenary groups didn't think much of Yiqing Luo and him. "Which level are we going to?" Yiqing Luo looked up at Dmo Xian. "Let's go to the 5th level first and pick some small magical beasts to practice with." Yiqing Luo blinked her eyes. Why did the meaning in these words sound a little horrifying? What did it mean to go to the 5th level first? The 5th level was a level that only mercenary groups of 40 to 50 people dared to go. Could it be that after practicing he still wanted to advance to the 6th level? Damn it. Chapter 220. No matter how Yiqing Luo wailed in her heart, she had been forcefully embraced by Dmo Xian and walked towards the depths of the magic beast forest. There weren't many magic beasts at the 2nd level and they were all cleared by the mercenary groups ahead. Yiqing Luo and Dmo Xian walked with ease. They were just taking a walk. Until they reached the 4th level, there were several intermediate-level magic beasts. Dmo Xian released Yiqing Luo's hand and took a step back. Yiqing Luo was clear that he wanted her to do it herself and had no intention of helping. The best way to increase strength was to fight continuously. Only through fighting could one's profound grade be maximized and used to stimulate one's potential. Yiqing Luo clenched the glower flame fan and leaped towards the intermediate-level magic beast. After a while, the intermediate-level magic beast fell to the ground. A sparkling crystal object popped out from the magic beast's head. "Hey, intermediate-level magic beasts also have magic cores?" Yiqing Luo picked up the crystal object. The magic core was the source of the magic beast's strength and was equivalent to the human's profound jade heart. The magic core was also the food of the magic beast and was the best material for refining weapons. The magic beasts in the magic beast forest have different strengths. Dmo Xian walked forward slowly and took Yiqing Luo into his arms once again. "Go further in and you may be able to collect some magic crystals." Magic crystal was the upgraded version of the magic core. Among the advanced magic beasts, only a small number of them could form a magic crystal. The use of the magic crystal was even more amazing than the magic core. The power in the magic crystal could be absorbed by humans and transformed into their own strength. Countless cultivators wanted to collect magic crystal to help themselves advance. Because of this, the price of magic crystal was raised to a high level. Because only mirage beasts would have magic crystal in their head. To kill a mirage beast, it required a team of 70 to 80 cultivators who were at the mystic level and above to be able to kill it successfully. Dmo Xian said it so easily. Nirvana legend was a legend after all, he spoke with such confidence. But Did the overlord intend to let her fight the mirage beast alone? If that was the case, she only wanted to say, "I can't do it." Along the way, Yiqing Luo slaughtered the magical beasts and collected the magic cores. Dmo Xian stood behind her, his peach blossom eyes looking at her tenderly. It wasn't until she had killed 2 to 3 advanced-leveled magical beasts that Yiqing Luo started to feel strained. At this moment they were already standing at the edge of the 5th level. Yiqing Luo intended to stop here. Dmo Xian, there might be danger if you go any further in. Even mercenary groups might not dare to go to the 5th level, and there were only 2 of them. She knew that Dmo Xian was powerful, but to what extent she had never seen it. Moreover, from the looks of it, Dmo Xian had no intention to make a move. Are you afraid? Dmo Xian raised his brows as his lips curled into a smile that didn't look like a smile. Yiqing Luo was stunned as her eyelids drooped down and her fingers subconsciously clenched into a fist. Scared? She had gone through a hail of bullets and gone through fire and water, but she had never feared death. Otherwise, he wouldn't have detonated the plane, jumped off the plane, and perished together with those old men. What was she worried about? Yiqing Luo wasn't sure what this unfamiliar feeling in her heart meant. In her past life, she had no friends or relatives. She had no one to rely on, and even if she died, no one would shed tears for her. So life and death wasn't important to her. But now, she had a younger brother whom she wanted to protect as he grew up. She had people whom she wanted to protect. She had promised those people to do something, but she hadn't done it. If something happened to her, they would shed tears for her. For the first time in her life, she actually tasted the taste of timidity in the face of danger. The her now was more like a person. Chapter 221. Ah Luo, do you believe me? Dmo Xian saw the evasive look in Yiqing Luo's eyes. He took her hand and put it to his lips. His warm lips were printed on the back of Yiqing Luo's hand. Yiqing Luo's hand trembled as she regained her senses from her chaotic thoughts and stared at Dmo Xian. Believe me, the 4th level will not be your limit. If you want to break through successfully, you have to go further. 5th level, 6th level, or even 7th level. Yiqing Luo widened her eyes in disbelief. He was sure? He was not joking? She was a yellow profound 9th grade cultivator. No matter how strong her potential was, if she had no fear and believed that she could rush to the 6th or 7th level. That was not confidence, that was stupidity, that was arrogance. Ah Luo, I'm here. Dmo Xian raised his eyes. That pair of long and narrow peach blossom eyes were moist and extremely charming. She just took a glance and couldn't help but sink into it. The most touching words of love in the world was, "I'm here." He was here? Could she really get used to him around? She had never experienced such feelings before. Should she follow her intuition and rely on this man for once? Why are there 2 people here? Suddenly, a sweet voice sounded behind her. Behind her, there was a burst of neat footsteps. Yiqing Luo turned her head back and saw a frail-looking lady hanging onto the man next to her. Behind them, there was a mercenary group of about 40 people. Just the 2 of you? The woman glanced behind the 2 of them and frowned. This is the 4th level. You 2 should hurry back. This gentle whisper and extremely concerned words almost made Yiqing Luo laugh. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. She didn't expect to run into acquaintances when she sneaked out of the academy. These 2 were none other than Leng Fenghua and Yiqing Qian. Now that it was the first day of school, Yiqing Qian should be in the Heavenly Academy. She actually sneaked out of the academy. Perhaps, it was because of Leng Fenghua. Some time ago, Yiqing Luo had exposed the affair between Yiqing Qian and Leng Fenghua in front of the people. No matter how they tried to explain, they couldn't explain it to the people. Moreover, if Leng Fenghua wanted to marry Yiqing Qian, it would confirm the rumors that they had an affair long ago. For the sake of his own reputation, Leng Fenghua naturally wouldn't be like before, looking for Yiqing Qian every few days for a lovey-dovey session. He wasn't looking for Yiqing Qian. Yiqing Qian panicked, thinking of ways to appear in front of Leng Fenghua. She was determined to secure the position of crown princess. The 2 of you dare to come to the 4th level? Even if you want to die, don't do it in front of me. How unlucky. Leng Fenghua disdainfully glanced at the 2 of them. The 2 of them looked extremely ordinary and their clothes were also ordinary. Even his profound rank was so weak that he almost couldn't sense it. He felt that it was a waste of time to look at these 2 pieces of trash. Your Highness, please don't be angry, just let these 2 people leave. Yiqing Qian comforted him gently, her little hand gently stroked Leng Fenghua's chest. The beauty's soft and gentle words made the expression on Leng Fenghua's face ease up quite a bit. He hugged Yiqing Qian's waist tightly as he walked past the both of them, walking towards the front. A group of mercenaries followed closely behind, and when they passed by Yiqing Luo, they even made a driving gesture. Go, go, hurry up and leave, don't disturb us. The group of people entered the 5th level in a grandiose manner. Chapter 222. Diamo Xian's pair of bewitching peach blossom eyes squinted slightly as he stared at Yiqing Luo for some time before his thin lips curled upwards. How could I refuse Luo's invitation? Yiqing Luo's eyes curved as she smiled, a crafty and black-bellied mysterious smile flowed beneath her eyes. The reason why Lung Fenghua would bring such a large group of people to the magic beast forest and march towards the 5th level was obviously for the magic crystal stones. Just when they had painstakingly killed a phantom beast and finally obtained a magic crystal stone, yet, it had been snatched away by someone else. How devastating would that be? Immediately Yiqing Luo no longer hesitated as she stepped into the 5th level. Lung Fenghua and Yiqing Jian had already given her a reason to continue taking risks. You are a woman suited to a life of adventure. It's good to have feelings in one's heart. Beside her ear, the man's low and hoarse voice rang out. It was as light as a breeze, falling into her eardrums. If this feeling can make you want to protect them and make you want to become stronger, then this is a motivation. But if this feeling causes you to stop moving forward, then you should think about it carefully. Do the people in your heart want you to stop moving forward? Luo, the you I know is not afraid of any difficulties or obstacles. You work hard to achieve your goals. This is why I admire you. I hope you don't lose this uniqueness that belongs to you. Yiqing Luo stopped in her tracks, her long eyelashes fluttered like butterfly wings. She raised her eyes and looked at Diamo Xian. The smile on the man's face was still there. At this moment, Yiqing Luo's state of mind had undergone an earth-shattering transformation. Deep in her bones, she still had the hot-bloodedness of an adventurer. She loved adventures and battles. She loved the feeling of gradually becoming stronger in the process of killing. However, after experiencing a life-and-death situation, he had never felt familial love and friendship before. This made her unable to adapt and deal with these emotions for a while. I understand. Yiqing Luo's throat was dry, and after a long while she spat out a sentence. Thank you, Diamo Xian. Diamo Xian's words could be said to have opened his heart. For the overlord to hang around her, other than the fact that she had something that Diamo Xian needed, there was an even bigger reason. It was because she was different from the current generation of women which attracted him. These words were enough. Since she believed in Diamo Xian and came to the magical beast forest, she should also try to hand over everything to Diamo Xian. The magical beasts on the 5th level were more concentrated. Furthermore, every single one of them was at least a high-ranked magical beast. Occasionally, a few mirage beasts could be seen. Although Lung Fenghua and the others were a large group of mercenaries, they still carefully avoided the groups of magical beasts and phantom beasts. Their goal was obviously to find a single low-level mirage beast. Before finding the target, it was best to avoid fighting with other difficult magical beasts and save some energy to deal with low-level magical beasts. Yiqing Luo and the other man hid in the dark, observing the actions of Lung Fenghua and the others. Walking all the way to the middle of the 5th level, a group of people finally caught a low-level phantom beast. Lung Fenghua's face was filled with joy as he pulled Yiqing Chen back into the mercenary group and commanded, Go! After successfully killing him, this prince will reward you with 500 gold coins. 500. This number caused the mercenaries in the mercenary group to rub their palms together. Initially when they accepted the mission, Lung Fenghua offered 300 gold coins, which was enough to make them excited. They didn't expect that he would directly increase it by 200 gold coins. Chapter 223. The low-level mirage beast was entirely black, with shiny black fur, strong limbs, slightly arched lower body, a pair of brown sharp beast eyes, vigilantly watching the surroundings. That mirage beast was a leopard-type mirage beast about the size of 2 giant tigers. Apparently, it had sensed the threatening atmosphere around it. The perception of a magical beast was hundreds of times higher than a human's. The mirage beast was even more vigilant, sensing the strange atmosphere from afar. Its entire body was stretched straight in a defensive posture. Get into formation. The mercenaries in front attack from the left and right. Go! Once mercenary Tuan Tuan gave the order, more than 40 mercenaries pounced forward. Roar! The low-level mirage beast's huge body leaped backward, avoiding the mercenaries' attack and let out a sharp roar. Finish it quickly. Its cry will attract other mirage beasts. The leader's face was cold, decisively commanding another team to rush forward, to block the mirage beast's mouth. The power of a mirage beast was enough to match two earth-profound cultivators, even if it was a low-level mirage beast. But this leopard-type mirage beast was obviously a battle-type mirage beast. Despite its huge body, it was as agile as a monkey, dodging the attacks of the mercenaries one after another. While avoiding the attacks, it opened its huge mouth, its sharp fangs mercilessly bit on the mercenaries' shoulders, and immediately lifted its huge leopard claws, trampling down fiercely. Several mystic profound cultivators were bitten by the leopard-type mirage beast, bleeding profusely, screaming endlessly. Human blood stimulated the mirage beast's sense of smell. That pair of sharp beastly eyes suddenly flashed, its claws pouncing even faster and more ruthlessly. In the dark, Yiqing Luo turned to look at the man beside her. Do you think this team of mercenaries can tame this mirage beast? If they can, what are you going to do? Dmo Xian raised his eyebrows and asked. What would he do? Yiqing Luo's vision returned to the agile leopard-type mirage beast. That black leopard-type mirage beast constantly changed its position, and at the most appropriate time attacked the mercenaries. One by one the mercenaries fell. On the other hand, it had only suffered some superficial injuries. If this magical beast were to be killed and Lung Fenghua took out its magic crystal, it would indeed be somewhat unbearable to watch it get killed. Luo is a kind-hearted girl. Dmo Xian's big hand covered Yiqing Luo's head. His long and narrow eyebrows were curved, and the corners of his mouth held a gentle smile. Kind-hearted? This was the first time someone had used these words to praise her. She knew that she was not a kind person. Everything he did was just following his heart. Unexpectedly, the leopard-type mirage beast that she admired a little in Dmo Xian's eyes, turned out to be kind-hearted. Yiqing Luo laughed lightly. In that case, you also suggest me to make a move? Dmo Xian gave an enigmatic smile. That smile, Yiqing Luo couldn't understand it. After a moment of silence, Dmo Xian's thin lips moved slightly as he faintly said, "He's here." Just as he finished speaking, the entire magical beast forest suddenly shook and the mountains shook. Immediately, a few deafening roars were heard, and the ground shook even more violently. The originally empty magical beast forest, with only one low-level mirage beast, suddenly, a large number of magical beasts and mirage beasts swarmed out. Those magical beasts and mirage beasts' size, some were taller than a tree and some were so huge that it was shocking. One by one they were madly trampling on the ground, making a loud roar. Those mercenary groups were scared silly by this lineup. Chapter 224. Your Highness, what's going on? Yiqing Qian was so shocked that her beautiful face turned pale, both her hands tightly hugged Lung Fenghua. Even Lung Fenghua was so shocked that his face turned pale. He wanted to run, but the woman in his arms held him tightly. It's a beast tide. It's actually a beast tide. The mercenary group leader stared at the group of beasts in disbelief. Leave quickly. Immediately the leader leaped up and came to Lung Fenghua's side. Both hands carried the two stupefied employers, and quickly moved to the side of the big tree. This team of mercenaries were well trained. After the leader's command, they immediately made the corresponding judgment. One by one they quickly retreated and scattered in all directions. Silver Plate Mercenary Group, their reaction is really good. Dmo Xian stared at Lung Fenghua, who was hiding on the opposite branch, who was rescued by the leader. Mercenary groups were also divided into different classes. The Mercenary Association divided the mercenary groups into bronze, silver and gold plate mercenary groups according to the overall strength of the group. Yiqing Luo did not expect that this team of people would turn out to be a silver plate mercenary group. Yiqing Luo thought that a mercenary group that was toyed with by a low-level mirage beast would at most be a bronze plate mercenary group. But these mercenaries, in the face of the beast tide, behaved in an orderly manner, completely different from the helpless look earlier. Yiqing Luo's eyes roamed around the group of beasts, trying to find the trace of the leopard mirage beast. That large wave of beasts trampled over the place where the mercenaries stood and rushed forward. Everywhere he went, the lush trees were sent flying, and the ground trembled from his stomps. Countless cracks appeared on the ground. That leopard mirage beast was so clever, it shouldn't be crushed by this group of beasts, right? Soon Yiqing Luo found that leopard mirage beast. Because that leopard mirage beast ran in a completely different direction from the group of beasts that kept rushing forward. It quickly ran to the back of the group, its head twisted, and its sharp eyes looked around. That pair of eyes revealed a sense of anxiety. Suddenly it stopped running as if it had seen something in the herd of beasts. It immediately rushed forward and ran to its destination. Soon after, like the herd of beasts, it began to run forward without stopping. Yiqing Luo could see it very clearly. The leopard-type phantom beast was looking for a group of leopard-type phantom beasts. Obviously they were its family. Those leopard-type mirage beasts were as huge as mountains. With one look, one could tell that they were definitely high-level mirage beasts. Originally, he thought that the low-level leopard-type phantom beast was already big enough. He didn't expect that these high-level phantom beasts of the same species were actually several times bigger. The family members of this small mirage beast were all high-level mirage beasts. Just now, it roared so loudly during the fight, but these high-level mirage beasts actually didn't come? The small magical beast followed the speed of the other magical beasts, and its mouth kept opening and roaring. However, the few high-level magical beasts around it did not even look at it. After running for a while, one of the high-level phantom beasts seemed to be annoyed by it. It suddenly turned its head and growled at the little phantom beast. The body of the high-level mirage beast collided with the small mirage beast. These illusionary beasts were several times the size of the small illusionary beast. With this collision, the small illusionary beast simply could not stand steadily. Its four limbs staggered and rolled on the ground. There was still a large wave of beasts behind it, and they did not stop running. One by one, they seemed to not see the small mirage beast and directly stepped on it. The small mirage beast dodged in a hurry, but was still stepped on and let out a mournful cry. Chapter 225. That low-level mirage beast is injured. Now. Lung Fenghua, who was standing on the branch with Yiqing Qian in his arms, stared greedily at the little mirage beast howling on the ground. The heavens were probably helping him in this beast tide. The little mirage beast, which had been injured by several people, was now trampled by its own kind. The little mirage beast with an injured leg could not escape from their palms. Below, the beast tide was still going on. The mercenary group leader frowned and stared at the group of beasts with a solemn face. As a mercenary group, he would check the situation clearly before taking on the mission. It was reasonable to say that there would be no beast tide in the magic beast forest today. The formation of this beast tide was not simple. Your Highness wants you to kill that low-level mirage beast now. Do you not want to complete the mission? Seeing that the leader was not paying attention to him, Lung Fenghua roared with a gloomy face. The leader frowned. Your Highness, this beast tide is very strange. If we go down rashly, I'm afraid. What's strange? You don't know how to grasp such a great opportunity. If that low-level mirage beast runs away, Your Highness will kill you. Lung Fenghua interrupted the leader's words. His eyes were fixed on the low-level mirage beast, which was limping to the side and staring at the group of beasts. In his mind, he had rehearsed the scene of killing this low-level mirage beast countless times. As long as he killed this low-level mirage beast, he would be able to get its magic crystal. The royal family was getting more and more despicable because of the age of the monarch. He was the eldest son of the emperor and also the most talented among the princes. Therefore he was given high hopes since he was young. He thought that he would be the first among the princes to advance to the Earth Profound realm. Unexpectedly, he was stuck in the mystic profound 9th grade realm. This had made him extremely depressed. But as his future crown princess Yiqing Luo was doing very well. Admitted to the Heavenly Academy, famous in Three Springs City, and even so intimate with the Overlord. When everyone mentioned Yiqing Luo, they would not think of him, the crown prince, but the Overlord. This was simply putting a green hat on his head, and he could only accept it obediently. The unwillingness of stagnating and the rage of being betrayed by Yiqing Luo had stimulated Lung Fenghua to immediately advance to the Earth Profound grade, so that he could sweep away the humiliation in front of Yiqing Luo. As long as he could obtain a magic crystal, he would have a chance to break through. The leader gritted his teeth, called his mercenaries, and leaped down. The horde of beasts surged forward one after another, showing no signs of stopping. The entire magical beast forest was shaking. The trees were smashed into pieces and fell to the ground, kicking up a storm of sand. As far as the eye could see, there were at least 1,000 of them densely packed together. The mercenaries felt their scalps go numb. They held their weapons and were a little timid. If it was just one or two magical beasts or illusionary beasts, they could still brace themselves to deal with them. But a large group, thousands of magical beasts and illusionary beasts. Fortunately, the magical beasts and illusionary beasts were charging forward in waves. They did not notice the few nobodies beside them at all. Dozens of mercenaries groped their way towards the direction of the little mirage beast. And that little mirage beast, which had keen senses, did not seem to notice the mercenaries approaching. It lay on the ground, looking at the wave after wave of beasts, letting out a low whimper. Its huge tail swayed a few times from time to time. That pair of beast eyes was covered with a layer of gray. Chapter 226. Such a look reminded Yiqing Luo of her past self a long time ago. It was the same, standing on the street every day, hoping that her father would turn back and take her away from those old men. But the initial expectation turned into despair. She never saw the man whom she called her father, but was a stranger to her. The little mirage beast at this time was just like her at that time. In her heart, there was an inexplicable emotion boiling, driving her to do something. At this time, dozens of mercenaries had approached the little mirage beast. The leader first approached and saw that the little mirage beast was in a trance, totally not noticing them. His face turned solemn and commanded in a deep voice, "Release all profound grade, kill it in one fell swoop." Dozens of mercenaries understood. One by one, profound chi broke out of their bodies, raised their weapons and attacked the direction of the little mirage beast. Suddenly a whirlwind blew past. Soon after, a red shadow that was like a blazing sun flashed past his eyes. Boom boom boom, the ground around the little mirage beast was scratched with several cracks in the air. As the ground sank, the little mirage beast suddenly regained its senses. Even though one of its legs was injured, it still stood up nimbly and quickly leaped. The ground where it stood just now suddenly collapsed. The mirage beast in their hands just flew away like that? Dozens of mercenaries all stared with their eyes wide open. They only saw that the red shadow that alarmed the little mirage beast turned into a whirlwind and spun back to a tree. A fair little hand firmly caught that red shadow. Everyone then saw clearly that was actually a red fan. A fan? Could it split the ground? Make the ground sink? Who is it? The leader was shocked, vigilantly looking in the direction of Yiqing Luo. He was shocked someone was following behind them and they actually didn't notice. Who exactly was it? Under everyone's shocked gaze, they saw a woman in a plain white dress, covered with red muslin, leaping down from the branch. Following the woman's movement, the white dress, like a blooming white lotus, floated lightly. The woman stood steadily in front of the little mirage beast, her posture outstanding. Everyone's gazes converged on her in unison. Immediately, another figure jumped down from the branch and landed beside Yiqing Luo. His black hair fluttered on his shoulders. His loose white robe was slightly open at his chest, revealing a bit of his muscular skin. He looked extremely lazy. "It's you guys?" The leader narrowed his eyes. Weren't these two the couple he had seen at the edge of the 5th level? Clearly, it looked ordinary without the slightest bit of advantage. He didn't expect them to be two unworldly experts. "It's you guys again." Lung Fenghua frowned, his eyes filled with malice. Just now, it was this woman who had disturbed the low-level mirage beast. Otherwise, the mercenary group would have succeeded. The dozens of mercenaries were also burning with anger. Just a little bit more and they would have been able to exchange this little mirage beast for 500 gold coins. The leader opened his arms and stopped the restless mercenaries. He looked at the two of them warily. They dared to come to the inner part of the 5th line with just the two of them. If they didn't have absolute strength, they wouldn't dare to take such a risk. "Why did the two of you make a move?" After a moment of silence, the leader asked. Yiqing Luo raised her eyebrows and smiled. The feather fan in her hand covered half of her face. "This little thing, we want it." The blunt words made Lung Fenghua's chest surge with anger. Chapter 227. What a coincidence, I don't have the habit of giving away the things I like to others. Yiqing Luo's pink lips rose slightly, her long and narrow eyes were curved, glistening. It was totally different from that extremely ordinary face. Staring at that pair of eyes, Lung Fenghua felt a chill in his heart. Why did it feel a little familiar? Yiqing Luo waved her feather fan, leisurely turned her head and looked at the leopard-type mirage beast that was standing not far behind, staring at them vigilantly, revealing an amiable smile. Are you willing to leave with me?" The little mirage beast first stood up, its beast eyes became even sharper. Its mouth kept emitting a roar warning growl. "How dare you? Do you know who you are talking to?" Yiqing Qian reprimanded and walked quickly to Lung Fenghua's side. "This is the current crown prince, you two commoners, how dare you compete with the crown prince for the mirage beast? What crime do you deserve?" Yiqing Qian's face was sullen, her gentle eyes were also covered with solemnity. Lung Fenghua puffed out his chest under Yiqing Qian's imposing words, both hands behind his back, displaying the posture of the crown prince. After getting used to seeing Yi Qingqian's gentle and pleasant look, suddenly seeing her acting like a motherly model, it was a different feeling. Lung Fenghua stared at Yi Qingqian's gaze, revealing some meaning. Crown Prince. Yi Qingluo sneered disapprovingly, so what? As long as it's something I want, even if the emperor comes, I will not give it up. This indifferent attitude made Lung Fenghua, who was used to being flattered, suddenly turn gloomy. Yi Qingluo even smiled at him provocatively. Refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. This prince wants to see just how great your ability is. Lung Fenghua clenched his 5 fingers, suddenly opened up, and released a palm wind, sweeping towards Yi Qingluo's direction. That palm wind, the imposing manner was like a rainbow rapidly approaching. The mystic profound 9th grade realm was indeed different from those low-level cultivators. This imposing manner set off a powerful fluctuation, like a sharp blade, piercing through the air, directly into one's skin. Yi Qingluo's pink lips curved slightly, didn't dodge, the feather fan on her fingertips rotated a few times, sweeping a sunset afterimage, colliding with that palm wind. Rumble, a huge collision sound exploded in the air. 2 majestic waves of profound chi surged in the air like the eruption of primordial power. One wave after another they rolled in the air. Bang! It exploded. The ground, which was already cracked and sunken, was blasted into a huge crater. The magical beast forest was shaken once more. You can actually take my palm? Lung Fenghua stared at Yi Qingluo in disbelief. His chest kept heaving up and down as his eyes shot out a vicious look. He was about to step into the Earth Profound Realm, and his current strength was above most of the 9th grade Mystic Profound Realm practitioners. This woman actually managed to block his palm strike? Yi Qingluo sneered. Just as he was about to turn around and approach the small illusory beast, his waist suddenly tightened. The man held her waist domineeringly and said in a low voice, "Your task today is not him." Following that, Yi Qingluo felt her body turning light. The man had already picked her up. The little mirage beast was stunned for a moment before it leapt up and followed behind Diamo Xian. Before Lung Fenghua and the rest understood what had happened, they suddenly heard a burst of chaotic footsteps coming from behind them. Only to see that the group of beasts that were constantly rushing forward seemed to have received a great stimulation. One by one they stopped their collective rush forward. Instead they ran around, rampaging through the entire magical beast forest. Chapter 228. Yi Qingqian's little face turned pale and subconsciously hid in Lung Fenghua's arms. No matter how talented she was, she still had the temperament of a little girl after all. She was afraid that Lung Fenghua would misunderstand her as a coward, so she stuttered, "Quick! Protect His Highness." The leader immediately retreated to Lung Fenghua's side and raised the axe in his hand to fight against the magical beasts and mirage beasts. "Your Highness, let's go." Wave after wave of magical beasts and mirage beasts. Even if the gold medal mercenary group came, they wouldn't be able to handle it. Several mercenaries didn't even have the ability to resist and were torn apart by those magical beasts. The leader's face was gloomy. He fiercely suppressed his desire to avenge his brothers and protected Lung Fenghua and Yi Qingqian as they left the beast tide. For mercenaries, the first priority was always the employer. Looking at the chaotic and bloody scene below, Yi Qingluo and Diamo Xian stood on a branch not far away and scathed. The little mirage beast stood not far behind them, separated by a safe distance. Its injured leg was trembling. Diamo Xian seemed to have already calculated the range and distance. The position he chose was just right. It was not far from the beast tide and just happened to avoid the attack of the beasts. "Beast tide. You are the one who caused it." Yi Qingluo raised her eyebrows and looked at the handsome face of the man next to her. This was an affirmative sentence, not a question. Diamo Xian brought her to the magic beast forest to use this beast tide to stimulate her breakthrough. In adversity, the line between life and death was the real opportunity to break through. No wonder from the beginning, Diamo Xian's goal was set on the 5th level. Yi Qingluo was very curious about what method he used to make all the magical beasts in the 5th level into a beast tide. Diamo Xian's big palm covered Yi Qingluo's head, his long arm around her waist and pulled her into his arms without any explanation. The elegant sandalwood fragrance seeped into the nose, suffused with an intoxicating feeling. "Plans can't keep up with changes, I didn't expect to meet them." Diamo Xian's low hoarse voice, like mellow wine, rang in her ears. In other words, he had already tacitly admitted that he was the culprit of this beast tide. "It's good that we met, to be able to watch a good show, it's not bad to be able to enjoy it." Yi Qingluo chuckled. If it wasn't for the fact that they met this heart-wrenching little mirage beast, Yiqing Luo was prepared to wait for them to finish killing the mirage beast before snatching the magic crystal. Not only could he cause trouble for Lung Fenghua, but he could also benefit from it. Meeting Lung Fenghua and the others was not too bad. Below, Lung Fenghua, who was dodging in a sorry state, almost spat out blood when he saw the two of them standing on a tree branch and flirting with each other. Go to them. Since you want to use the beast tide to kill me, I will give you a taste of your own medicine. Lung Fenghua gritted his teeth as he gave a cold snort. Pulling Yiqing Qian's hand, his feet moved like the wind as he led a wave of beasts towards Yiqing Luo's direction. Rumbling sounds resounded throughout the entire magical beast forest. The ground caved in and the mountains shook. You've become smart. Yiqing Luo's brows rose slightly, the feather fan in her hand twirled around her fingertips, her lips curled into a bloodthirsty smile. Diamo Xian, I'll head down first. But Diamo Xian's arm didn't loosen. Yiqing Luo looked at Diamo Xian in puzzlement, and met with his pair of sparkling peach blossom eyes. The man's face was filled with a sense of ridicule, the corners of his mouth slightly hooked, stirring one's heart. Call me Xian. Yiqing Luo's heart thumped, skipped a few beats. Her bright eyes stared blankly at Diamo Xian's evildoer face, her cheeks flushed red. Xian. Chapter 229. If you don't call me, I won't let go. Diamo Xian's eyes gleamed with a crafty glint as his 5 fingers clasped her waist tightly. Rogue. Rascal. Yiqing Luo gritted her teeth in embarrassment and pushed Diamo Xian's chest. Stop fooling around. I'm not messing around. Diamo Xian's obsidian black eyes gazed deeply at Yiqing Luo. You can try how serious I am. His long arm exerted a little force and Yiqing Luo's delicate body fell into Diamo Xian's arms. He hugged her tightly in his arms, and her limbs were bound so tightly that she could not move. West. All right. In Yiqing Luo's heart, it was as though 10,000 grass mud horses were whizzing past. He was on the verge of collapse. She saw how serious he was. Yiqing Luo's face turned black as she gritted her teeth and squeezed out 2 words. Xian. The man released his hands in satisfaction, his eyebrows full of a satisfied smile. Yiqing Luo's face sunk as she hopped down the tree branch in a flurry. And then, since she was unable to vent her anger at Diamo Xian, she might as well vent it on this group of magical beasts. Yiqing Luo's 5 fingers moved as the feather fan in her hand refracted a cold ray of light. Moving his feet, he turned into an afterimage and rushed into the midst of the magical beasts and illusionary beasts. Is she looking for death? Yiqing Jian saw Yiqing Luo's bold move and her eyes revealed a trace of ruthlessness. The magical beasts on the 5th level were all high-level magical beasts and phantom beasts. Just one of them was already difficult to deal with. The woman charged straight into the horde of beasts. Did he really think that he was an otherworldly expert? Even an otherworldly expert would not be able to deal with a large wave of magical beasts at once. If she wants to die, then let her go. Lung Fenghua snorted disdainfully. After leading a wave of magical beasts to the tree branch where Diamo Xian was standing, he let go of Yiqing Qian and with a leap, he speedily jumped onto another big tree. Yiqing Qian's expression sunk. She did not expect that Lung Fenghua would abandon her at this time. A wave of resentment and unwillingness rose from the bottom of his heart, but he was unwilling to complain. Those magical beasts were huge and they slammed into him. No matter how fast Yiqing Qian's reaction was, she was still hit by the magical beast right in front. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels felt like they were being torn apart. She quickly used her profound qi to escape from the eyes of the magical beasts and returned to Lung Fenghua's side. This time round, Yiqing Qian didn't dare to hand herself into Lung Fenghua's hands. She would rather escape on her own than let Lung Fenghua become a target. Your Highness. Just as he was about to open his mouth and call out to Lung Fenghua to ease the awkward atmosphere between the two of them, Lung Fenghua's eyes were dull as he stared blankly in front of him. Yiqing Qian also followed his gaze and looked over, the expression on her face, her mouth opened into an O shape. His jaw almost dropped to the ground. There was a strong smell of blood in the air. Amidst the herd of beasts, a white figure darted about like a bolt of lightning. The feather fan in his hand seemed to have a soul of its own, circulating among the countless demonic beasts. The corpses of the gigantic magical beasts were strewn all over the ground. Her speed was so fast that it was shocking, her footwork was so strange that no one could understand it. Everyone could only see the white figure moving at high speed, accurately dodging the attacks of the demonic beasts, tearing and trampling attacks. While avoiding, she decisively released the feather fan in her hand, harvesting one magical beast after another. Was this really a high-leveled magical beast that they could not lay their hands on? Why was it like chopping cabbage in front of this lady? Was the disparity in strength? No. Impossible. Who is she? Lung Fenghua stared at Yiqing Luo in horror. What kind of footwork is this? In the world of martial arts, only speed could not be defeated. Speed was the best magic weapon to win. If a high-leveled cultivator looked closely, he would be able to see it. The woman in front of him was able to harvest magical beasts one after another, and the biggest reason was because of her strange footwork. Chapter 230. Accurately knowing the frequency and direction of the magical beast's attacks, avoiding them at the most appropriate time and making the most appropriate counterattack. Facing thousands of high-level magical beasts and various levels of mirage beasts, if they were in her shoes, they would never be able to remain so calm. Looking at the white-robed man on the treetop, standing against the wind, with a faint smile on his face, a pair of narrow and charming eyes staring intently at Yiqing Luo's direction without blinking. His ordinary face at this moment revealed a somewhat unfathomable feeling. Lung Fenghua had an intuition that this man, compared to the woman who was fighting among the magical beasts, was even more terrifying. If he were to make a move, what would the scene be like? What is that? Suddenly, the mercenaries pointed to the front and shouted. Everyone looked over there and saw a small palm-sized kitten suddenly sprang out from the woman's body, as fast as lightning, swimming among the magical beasts. It picked up all the magic cores in the magical beasts' heads and put them into a small brocade pouch on its back. The woman was fighting in front, while the kitten followed behind to pick up the magic cores. When a magic crystal full of magical beast energy was put into the small brocade pouch, Lung Fenghua and those mercenaries, one by one, took a cold breath and then came back to their senses. Among the magical beasts on the 5th level, most of them were intermediate and high-level magical beasts. A high-level magical beast was equivalent to an earth mystic cultivator. This woman chopped these magical beasts like cabbages. Even mirage beasts died under her hands. Thinking back to earlier, they had lost a few lives to deal with a low-level mirage beast, but still couldn't hurt the low-level mirage beast at all. All of them had internal injuries. That was way too exciting, wasn't it? Go kill the magical beast. The leader was the first to react, and immediately called the remaining mercenaries to join the battle. Watching Yiqing Luo pick up the magic cores and also a magic crystal. These mercenaries, the purpose of coming here, was to find a magic crystal for Lung Fenghua. If it wasn't for the money, they would not step into this dangerous place. Seeing Yiqing Luo easily obtain a large number of magic cores and a magic crystal, they immediately wanted to profit from it. There were less than 30 people left in the mercenary group. Under the command of the leader, they quickly joined the battle. Boom boom boom. The sounds of battle between magical beasts and profound practitioners rose and fell, and it resounded throughout the entire magical beast forest. That lady? Why does she look so familiar? Lung Fenghua's gaze was fixated on Yiqing Luo. The more he looked, the more he felt that this figure, this aura, this gaze, all of them were extremely familiar. But for a moment he couldn't recall who it was. When Yiqing Qian heard that, her body suddenly stiffened. Her face, which was trying hard to put on a gentle expression, was a little stiff. She slowed down her breathing and suppressed the panic in her heart. No, it can't be. How could His Highness be familiar with such an ordinary-looking woman? That's true. Even if I've seen it before, this face would not be able to leave a single mark in my heart. Lung Fenghua sighed slightly. If he had seen her before, he would have known that she was such a powerful expert. He should have brought her into his force long ago and let her fight for the position of the monarch. Seeing that Lung Fenghua had stopped guessing, Yiqing Qian heaved a sigh of relief. A pair of venomous eyes glared viciously at the woman who was wandering among the beasts. Lung Fenghua couldn't recognize her, but she could. This figure, this pair of eyes, this arrogant and condescending arrogance, other than Yiqing Luo, that little slut, who else could it be? Chapter 231. The beast tide was turbulent, wave after wave, with no signs of stopping. Those 30 mercenaries were able to join the Silver Plate mercenary group. Their own strength and understanding were not bad. Moreover, they had been fighting for many years. Their tacit understanding was quite high. When they saw Yiqing Luo using her footwork and speed to play around with the beasts, they learned and applied what they learned. Soon, they adjusted the rhythm of dealing with the magical beasts and could actually work together to kill one magical beast after another. The leader heaved a sigh of relief. His gaze was complicated as he looked at Yiqing Luo, who had stopped and stood motionless on the side. Unexpectedly, he had led the mercenary group to live in the magic beast forest for 5 or 6 years, but it was only today that he found a way to deal with the magical beasts from an unfamiliar woman. How could he endure this? From the bottom of his heart, he was filled with admiration for this seemingly ordinary but actually extraordinary woman. Bitch. Those magic cores were killed by the mercenary group we hired. What right do you have to pick them up? Suddenly, a sharp voice came from the treetops. Yiqing Qian showed a displeased expression and pointed angrily at Yiqing Luo. After shouting, Yiqing Qian realized that she had lost control of her emotions and ruined the gentle and generous image that she had carefully created. She hurriedly pinched her throat, grabbed Lung Fenghua's sleeves and said to the mercenary group, "His Highness hired you, any spoils of war that you kill should belong to His Highness." Everyone then realized that Yiqing Luo had stopped killing the magical beasts. Instead, she was leisurely, together with her kitten, picked up pieces of magic cores from the heads of the magical beasts and put them into the brocade bag. This action made Lung Fenghua's face turn green. Yiqing Luo weighed the magic core in her hand and threw it into the air. She immediately caught it and raised her pink lips slightly. "Why? Because without me you will all die here today." The mercenary group and the others had no words to refute. Indeed, if it wasn't for Yiqing Luo, they would most likely not be able to escape this increasingly turbulent beast tide. However, Yiqing Qian recognized Yiqing Luo, new hatred and old hatred mixed together. She was jealous of Yiqing Luo and hated her at the same time. This little bitch, the last time she saw her, she was clearly in the yellow profound realm. But she could actually fight wave after wave of intermediate and high-level magical beasts, and she could even take the opportunity to kill magical beasts. This combat strength was even stronger than Lung Fenghua, a 9th-grade mystic profound realm practitioner. At this moment, Yiqing Qian naturally wasn't willing to let Yiqing Luo have it easy. Since the magical beasts were killed by everyone, then the magical beast cores should be divided together. Moreover, we clearly have the most people, so our damage output is naturally higher. Saying that, Yiqing Qian took Lung Fenghua's arm. "Your Highness is the crown prince. All the spoils of war should be left with your Highness. After the magical beasts are eliminated, then we can divide it equally." When Yiqing Luo heard that, she couldn't help but burst out laughing. This time, she saw with her own eyes what it meant to lie through one's teeth. "If you want the magic core, use your strength to speak." Yiqing Luo hooked her finger at Yiqing Qian, as if she was ordering a pet. This provocative action and attitude made Yiqing Qian's face turn black. Both sides knew each other's background. Yiqing Qian wasn't stupid, although her profound grade was above Yiqing Luo, but Yiqing Luo's set of strange footwork and breathtaking imposing manner, she couldn't resist at all. If she really fought with Yiqing Luo, the one who would lose face in the end, would definitely be herself. But before she could think about how to reject Yiqing Luo's provocation, while still preserving her face, suddenly a figure stood in front of her. A black robe wrapped around his strong and tall body, the broad back reflected in Yiqing Qian's eyes. It was Lung Fenghua. Chapter 232. As soon as he finished his words, Lung Fenghua flipped his palm and a huge ball of light emerged from his palm. His eyes exuded a strong murderous aura as he quickly condensed the ball of light from his profound qi towards Yiqing Luo's direction. That ball of light was as fast as lightning, leaving only an afterimage. The profound grade of the mystic profound 9th grade was indeed extraordinary. The momentum was like a rainbow, like a shocking giant wave, the waves superimposed. This was the power of a high-level cultivator. Sure enough, as the rumor said, Your Highness is a genius in cultivating profound skills. Yiqing Luo was not afraid at all as she laughed teasingly. Although her words were compliments, but her eyes were full of ridicule. She quickly stepped back, opened the feather fan on her fingertips, and injected profound qi into the feather fan. As the feather fan waved, a flame dragon appeared, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws, swallowing and spitting flames, directly collided with that ball of light. Bang! A loud bang, the fire dragon and the ball of light intertwined. The two profound qi collided, the surrounding air exploded, and the entire ground was plunged into an earthquake. The light shone, Yiqing Luo's charming eyes were flowing with a cold glint, set off by that ordinary face, especially dazzling. The surrounding wind raged, sand and gravel flew everywhere. Under the gale, Yiqing Luo was dressed in a plain white robe, the red chiffon fluttering in the wind, like a blooming lotus. Just when everyone thought that these two profound chi were evenly matched, that ball of light suddenly burst into light, and Yi Qing Luo's fire dragon directly pressed back. Obviously this woman's profound grade was below Lung Feng Hua. Lower than Lung Feng Hua? That also meant that this woman's profound grade was below Mystic Profound 9th grade. The mercenaries' faces were filled with disbelief. In the mercenary group, all of them were in the Mystic Profound realm. However, 40 over of them to deal with a low-level mirage beast, they were already battered and exhausted, and more than 10 of their brothers had died. But this woman relied on her own strength to hunt wave after wave of magical beasts. No matter how strange that set of strange footwork was, without absolute strength, there was absolutely no way to easily hunt magical beasts. If it wasn't for Lung Feng Hua's profound chi which forced Yi Qing Luo to retreat, they would have thought that this was some otherworldly expert. Some even guessed that Yi Qing Luo was a sky mystic supreme. Unexpectedly, Yi Qing Luo's profound grade was actually lower than Lung Feng Hua. This was true power. The mercenaries who were fighting against the magical beasts were shocked and distracted, allowing the magical beasts to take the opportunity to counterattack. They immediately calmed themselves down and readjusted their rhythm to deal with the next wave of beasts. Yi Qing Luo narrowed her eyes, and just as the light ball was about to be pushed back, a thought flashed through her mind: teleportation. In the blink of an eye, Yi Qing Luo's figure appeared 100 meters away. She raised her feather fan, and the bewitching red light flickered. The airflow surged and once again formed a fire dragon. When Lung Feng Hua saw this, a disdainful sneer appeared on his face. After knowing that Yi Qing Luo's profound grade was below his, Lung Feng Hua's heart was filled with pride. Towards Yi Qing Luo's attack of profound chi, he totally disregarded it. He scoffed lightly as he leapt upwards, meeting that burst of profound chi as both his palms struck downwards, directly attacking Yi Qing Luo's face. But when he collided with that burst of profound chi, his expression suddenly changed. That fire dragon suddenly turned into a ball of spiral, tightly entangling Lung Feng Hua within it. Yi Qing Luo's feather fan folded up, and a strong airflow was released from her feet. Her figure flashed, and in the blink of an eye, she had already appeared in front of Lung Feng Hua. Chapter 233. The Speed. It was so fast that the naked eye almost couldn't catch it. Her profound grade was obviously lower than his, so how could her speed be so fast? Earlier when Yi Qing Luo's profound chi was suppressed, Yi Qing Luo also disappeared in a blink of an eye. He didn't sense any profound chi fluctuation at all. This woman, other than her strange footwork, she must have some other magical weapon to increase her speed. Lung Feng Hua was shocked. He nimbly somersaulted back and quickly retreated a few steps. Immediately, profound chi was injected into both palms, and another palm strike was launched. The palm wind whistled, bringing along a whirlwind. Yi Qing Luo waved her feather fan and easily avoided it. But Lung Feng Hua's figure was nowhere to be seen. Yi Qing Luo's watery eyes squinted slightly, and released her perception to the maximum range, searching for Lung Feng Hua's presence. Although the surrounding trees had been destroyed by the beasts, but it was still a forest. It was very easy for him to hide. Lung Feng Hua was able to become the crown prince. His strength was naturally not weak, and his ability to adapt was also extremely strong. He was very clear that there was absolutely no chance of winning against Yi Qing Luo in terms of speed. It was better to strike from the dark. Yi Qing Luo vigilantly sensed everything around her. The opponent was a mystic profound 9th grade cultivator. Even if she relied on her footwork and teleportation, she didn't dare to be too insolent. After all, between a profound grade, there was a difference of 108,000 miles. Her ears suddenly twitched. She quickly turned sideways and turned her head to look. Behind him, an extremely sharp xianxia transformed into a giant dragon with its head held high. That huge dragon hovered in the sky, opened its mouth and wanted to swallow Yi Qing Luo. The entire magical beast space had darkened. The sky had flashed with lightning as if a storm was coming. Yi Qing Luo immediately squatted down and rolled sideways. That huge dragon pounced on empty air. There was a loud explosion. The entire ground was blasted out a huge black hole. Sand and stones flew, smoke and dust billowed. Vaguely she saw a figure flickering, but she couldn't see it clearly. Yi Qing Luo's eyes sunk and her heart jumped. Damn it. Not good. She fell into a trap. One palm to determine the universe. Dragon Shadow Palm. As Lung Feng Hua's palms turned over again, the corners of his mouth curled into a sly sneer. Amidst the hazy smoke and dust, only Lung Fenghua's hands could be seen in the air. It was impossible to see his movements at all. A wave of palm chi formed a huge palm print in midair. Like a huge wave, the surrounding ground rumbled and trembled as cracks appeared on it. Lightning flashed and thunder roared in the pitch-black sky. Lung Fenghua had calculated Yiqing Luo's evasion speed and distance before he executed this fatal blow. Yiqing Luo couldn't evade in time. She swiftly raised her feather fan and injected her profound energy into it, and then she constructed a red light barrier that was like a cocoon and enveloped herself within it. Just as the cocoon rose, the dragon shadow palm had already covered the sky and the earth as it pressed down. This powerful energy seemed as though it was going to corrode her as it instantly tore apart Yiqing Luo's protective shield. At the same time, Yiqing Luo executed her teleportation once again. He appeared behind Lung Fenghua. She spun the feather fan in her hand, and a sharp blade appeared on the handle of the fan, which was pressed against Lung Fenghua's neck. Boom boom boom. Just as Yiqing Luo was about to get close to Lung Fenghua, the ground suddenly boomed and caved in. Within a few meters around Lung Fenghua, the ground collapsed crazily. That exploded stone, all smashed onto Yiqing Luo's chest. A mouthful of blood spurted out from Yiqing Luo's mouth. Chapter 234. Unexpectedly, Lung Fenghua actually controlled his palm energy so freely. Yiqing Luo felt a fishy sweetness in her throat as she steadied herself. It's really you, Yiqing Luo. Lung Fenghua's eyes were cold as he stared intently at Yiqing Luo's face. Disguising yourself to appear in front of this highness, is it an attempt to attract my attention? Very good, you succeeded. The more he looked, the more Lung Fenghua felt that the woman in front of him was very familiar. Gradually, it overlapped with the petite figure in his mind. This was the reason why Lung Fenghua stood in front of Yiqing Jian and exchanged blows with Yiqing Luo. Sure enough, he found it. Pfft. Yiqing Luo spat. Do you have to be so narcissistic? Who the hell was trying to get his attention? She found it disgusting. Who is that man? Lung Fenghua's eyes were bloodshot as he turned his head towards Dmo Xian's direction. Dmo Xian stood proudly with his arms crossed over his chest. The fluttering white long robe actually looked so compatible with Yiqing Luo's outfit. Lung Fenghua felt as if he had caught his own woman with his own eyes and made him wear a green hat. What has it got to do with you? Yiqing Luo sneered as she wiped the blood off her lips. Suddenly he felt an inexplicable burning sensation in his heart. She covered her chest with her small, fair hands. Yiqing Luo's forehead was dripping with cold sweat. Lung Fenghua only thought that Yiqing Luo had admitted her affair with that man, and his eyes shot out an intense murderous intent as he raised his palm once again. Suddenly, a strong ray of light burst forth from Yiqing Luo's body. That devilish red glow turned into a whirlwind, encircling Yiqing Luo's surroundings. Lung Fenghua was forced to take a few steps back. His face was filled with shock, and his tall body trembled uncontrollably. No, impossible, actually, this was the sign of a breakthrough. Lung Fenghua naturally wouldn't foolishly assume that Yiqing Luo was going to advance to the Earth Profound grade. Not an Earth Xian, was that the Mystic Profound realm? In other words, before this, Yiqing Luo's Profound grade had always been Yellow Profound 9th grade? Lung Fenghua's prideful self-esteem was severely stimulated. Yellow Profound 9th grade. He could actually fight wave after wave of magical beasts and illusory beasts. Yellow Profound 9th grade. He was a profound grade higher than Yiqing Luo, yet he had to resort to trickery to hurt her. Yiqing Luo continued to grow, wouldn't it be? Lung Fenghua shuddered, not daring to think any further. Everyone's vision, including those magical beasts which were fighting crazily, all shifted onto Yiqing Luo. In the light, a white figure gradually appeared. The coquettish red light stirred up a whirlwind that blew her hair and her dress fluttered in the air. It was as if a fairy from the 9 heavens had descended into the world. The light around her body flickered one after another. Mystic Profound Grade 1. Mystic Profound 2nd Grade. Mystic Profound 3rd Grade. Everyone was horrified in their hearts, and gasps resounded one after another. In the end, the light flickered once more, and the fluctuation of the profound chi stopped at the 4th level of the profound mystic realm. The light gradually dissipated. Within Yiqing Luo's body, there seemed to be a clear spring flowing along her meridians. His body and mind felt comfortable. Even the pain from Lung Fenghua's palm energy seemed to have disappeared. F*ck. Where did this freak come from? A breakthrough of 4 ranks in one go? I must be dreaming. How could this be possible? I've never seen anyone who could advance so many ranks in one go. None of the mercenaries could believe their own eyes. A breakthrough to the mystic profound grade. And straight to the mystic profound 4th grade. This was simply unheard of. Chapter 235. Yiqing Luo smiled sweetly, as enchanting as a flower. After her breakthrough, her entire temperament had undergone an earth-shattering change. That pair of enchanting eyes revealed a bit of charm. Her exquisite face and faint smile caused everything around her to lose all its brilliance. This smile could be said to be devastatingly beautiful, unparalleled. However, this smile in Lung Fenghua's eyes was like a devil from hell. His whole body was ice cold, and before he could react, he felt a stinging pain on his neck. Yiqing Luo's fan handle pressed against Lung Fenghua's neck. The sharp blade cut his skin, a drop of bewitching blood flowed on the blade. Lung Fenghua felt the pain, drew a cold breath. His body had just moved, both his arms were held by Yiqing Luo's hands. Crack! Lung Fenghua only felt a numbness in both arms, the bones were twisted, he was in so much pain that he broke out in cold sweat. His facial features were hideous, his entire face was twisted into a ball. That pair of sinister eyes was filled with hostility. In his heart there was a turbulent wave. He couldn't believe the once weak and incompetent, meek Yiqing Luo actually improved so quickly. Her beauty was so ostentatious that he couldn't bear it. The strong and sharp aura shocked him to the point that he had no room to resist. How could the current Lung Fenghua have the slightest bit of his usual gentleness? Lung Fenghua, no matter what, you are a crown prince, don't say that I didn't give you a chance. Yiqing Luo's fan handle lightly patted his neck a few times. Lung Fenghua's muscles stiffened, his whole body tensed up. Aren't you and eldest sister affectionate, lovey-dovey? Now, let Yiqing Chen come over, kowtow to me a few times, then I will let you go, how about that? Yiqing Luo's charming eyes were glistening, the smile on the corner of her mouth was full of ridicule. Yiqing Chen, who was standing far away in the safe zone, heard this, angrily pointed at Yiqing Luo. Yiqing Luo, you dare to ask us to kneel? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning? You're not dead yet, this lightning can't strike me no matter what. Yiqing Luo's brows rose as her lips curled into a sarcastic smile. Don't tell me? Eldest sister is unwilling to kneel down for Lung Fenghua? After saying that, she clicked her tongue and shook her head helplessly. So the relationship between you two isn't as good as I thought. It's just a kneel and you can save your lover. You're still unwilling? Don't try to sow discord between us. Yiqing Chen's face darkened as she clutched her sleeves tightly. Who knows if you're intentionally teasing us? She bit her lower lip fiercely, her eyes burning with anger. Her feelings towards Lung Fenghua was not true love. What she loved was his status and power. Moreover, Lung Fenghua did not have true feelings for her. Especially just now, in order to escape, he had actually left her to be the prey of that wave of magical beasts. These actions made Yiqing Chen's heart turn cold. For her to kneel down to Yiqing Luo for Lung Fenghua, she couldn't do it. That's right, there's a high possibility that he's playing a trick on you. Yiqing Luo raised her eyebrows, the blade of the fan swam around Lung Fenghua's skin. The blade shone with a piercingly cold light. As though the slightest movement would cut his neck. The feeling of the death god above his head was indeed torturous. Lung Fenghua's body stiffened, even his breathing was careful. Yiqing Luo's dimples bloomed as her enchanting sweet voice slowly seeped into everyone's eardrums. But you don't have a choice. So what if they were playing a trick? Chapter 236. You're going too far. Yiqing Chen was so angry that her entire body was trembling, her 10 fingers were tightly embedded into the flesh of her palm. Yiqing Luo sneered disapprovingly, I never bully others. In her eyes, Yiqing Chen was at most an animal. Following that, Yiqing Luo raised up 3 fingers as her chilly voice was piercingly cold. I'll count to 3, either you kneel down or he dies. Yiqing Luo withdrew a finger and spat out a word, 1. Yiqing Chen's eyes were filled with unwillingness. His heart was filled with hatred, burning in his heart. 2. Yiqing Luo retracted another finger. Yiqing Chen still didn't move. Lung Fenghua didn't dare to turn his neck and could only turn his eyes and stare at Yiqing Chen's direction. He absolutely believed that Yiqing Luo wasn't joking. 3. The last number came out from Yiqing Luo's pink lips. With a dong sound, Qian's knees landed heavily on the ground. The gravel on the ground stabbed into her knees. Hiss. Qian sucked in a breath of cold air, her facial features contorted in pain. She bit her lower lip tightly as she endured the humiliation and kowtowed towards Luo's direction. His forehead was pressed against the ground. She curled up her fingers one by one, leaving marks on the ground. But for a long time he didn't hear Luo's voice. Luo. For His Highness I will kneel. What else do you want? Qian's gaze was venomous as she raised her head abruptly and stared ahead. The voice stopped abruptly. In front of him, where was Luo? Only Lung Fenghua was half kneeling on the ground, clutching his neck and panting heavily. Qian's face twitched a few times as she stiffly twisted her neck and looked around. They saw Luo, who was originally standing in front, holding Lung Fenghua hostage, was now in the midst of the beast horde. All the mercenaries were working together with her to surround a huge leopard-shaped magical beast. Qian was so infuriated that she couldn't stop trembling. She knelt down, but Luo totally disregarded her. Luo actually dared to tease her like this. Hatred spread rapidly from the bottom of his heart. She must kill Luo. He had to wash away today's humiliation. Not long ago, while Luo was teasing Qian, the mercenaries were annihilating wave after wave of magical beasts. Accompanying the beast tide were 3 advanced mirage beasts. One of the gigantic leopard-shaped mirage beasts bared its fangs and charged towards the leader. His speed was so fast that no one could react in time. Leader. The mercenaries cried out in fear. Their mercenary corps of more than 40 people joined forces to deal with a low-level phantom beast, but a few of them would die. Not to mention a high-level phantom beast? Moreover, the leopard-type phantom beast's eyes were scarlet red, revealing a strong killing intent. It's over. 10 meters ahead, roll right. Suddenly, a cold voice entered the regiment commander's ears. Then he saw a white figure coming over quickly. The feather fan at her fingertips rolled up a bewitching red light and enveloped the high-level phantom beast. The commander reacted quickly, leaping forward with large strides and rolling on the ground. His body happened to be submerged in a pile of weeds and trees, and in an instant he disappeared without a trace. Luo's profound chi could only make the high-level phantom beast stagnate for a moment. When it could move, it lost its target in front of it. It immediately flew into a rage and stared at Luo with its scarlet eyes. Human, this beast does not want to be enemies with you, hand over that human. Chapter 237. The moment she opened her mouth, everyone was stunned. It was rumored that mirage beasts could speak human language and live like humans. This rumor turned out to be true. It was the first time for the mercenaries present to hear the voice of a mirage beast. What made them even more surprised was this high-level mirage beast actually used a negotiating tone to speak to Luo? Luo was also slightly stunned. Leopard-type high-level mirage beast. She narrowed her eyes slightly. Why are you looking for him? The high-level mirage beast's eyes sunk, revealing a bloodthirsty hatred. Human, he killed my son. If you insist on protecting that person, don't blame this beast for not showing mercy. Son. Luo looked at the mercenary beside her. That mercenary shook his head desperately. They had killed so many magical beasts. Who knew which one this high-level mirage beast's son was? That high-level mirage beast took a step forward, as if it had smelled the scent of the group leader. The mercenaries looked at Luo with pleading eyes. It could be seen that this high-level mirage beast still had some fear towards Luo. If Luo was not here, this mirage beast would probably directly destroy this place to avenge its son. Ow ow ow. Suddenly, a ball of white little thing as fast as lightning rushed to the front of Luo. A palm-sized kitten sitting on the ground. Its mouth issued a warning ow ow sound. The dark eyes of the beast faintly flashed a few traces of red light. Don't want to live. Miss your kitten. A little thing, in order to protect its master, actually wanted to fight against a high-level mirage beast which was taller than a mountain? But a scene that made everyone dumbfounded happened. Only to see that huge mirage beast stopped in front of the kitten. The mirage beast suppressed its anger, lowered its eyes and stared at Luo. Human, what do you want? When she saw Chi sitting at the foot of the mirage beast, Luo finally understood why this mirage beast was so afraid of her. Chi was one of the 4 sacred beasts, the ancestor of all the beasts. After she and Chi formed a contract, her body would naturally be contaminated with Chi scent. High-leveled magical beasts and above were able to sniff out that Yiqing Luo had contracted with a sacred beast. Your son. Is he a low-level mirage beast? Yiqing Luo's lips curled into a smile, her charming eyes amiable. This leopard mirage beast reminded Yiqing Luo of the agile little mirage beast. Wasn't that little mirage beast chasing after its own kin? Was it abandoned by its kin? Then this one. Since he was so eager to avenge his son, it was obvious that he cared a lot about the little mirage beast. Then why would the little mirage beast show such an expression? You saw my son? The high-rank fantasy beast's eyes darkened. You're in cahoots with these humans. Oh, Chi-Chi whimpered unhappily. It was very dissatisfied with the magical beast's attitude towards its master. It leapt up and jumped onto Yiqing Luo's shoulder. The rage of the high-level phantom beast was instantly extinguished. But its pair of beast eyes were still staring intently at Yiqing Luo. As though as long as Yiqing Luo replied with a yes, it would disregard everything else and directly tear Yiqing Luo apart. Roar roar, a loud and clear beast roar sounded from behind Yiqing Luo. Immediately Yiqing Luo only felt a gust of chilly wind blowing past her cheek and saw a shadow flitting past her eyes. That little mirage beast crashed into the body of the high-level mirage beast. Roar roar, the little mirage beast rubbed against it, its beast eyes glistening with tears. Jean, the high-level mirage beast roared excitedly when it saw the little mirage beast. Chapter 238. As soon as these three high-level mirage beasts appeared, the surrounding magical beasts seemed to have seen their king and stood obediently on both sides. Wave after wave of ferocious beast tide also came to a stop. The entire scene was so quiet that only the low cries of these three mirage beasts could be heard. The group of beasts did not dare to move. The surrounding mercenaries also did not dare to move. Yiqing Luo narrowed her eyes, sure enough. From the first time she saw this little mirage beast, she felt that this little mirage beast was not an ordinary low-level mirage beast, because its speed and reaction was several times faster than ordinary low-level mirage beasts. The relatives of this little mirage beast were all high-level mirage beasts. Human. The high-leveled mirage beast that was gently caressing the small mirage beast suddenly opened its mouth. Its voice was like a great bell, falling heavily into Yiqing Luo's ears. It lowered its head and suddenly stretched out its tail towards Yiqing Luo. That huge, fluffy tail was the size of a thick tree. As its tail moved, the surrounding mercenaries held their breath vigilantly and released their profound chi ready to go. Yiqing Luo looked down at the fluffy tail in front of her, pondered for a moment and stretched out her hand. Her body was curled up by the tail. Her body became light and she landed on the back of the high-level mirage beast. Yiqing Luo couldn't see the huge leopard-type mirage beast clearly as she sat in it. The surrounding mercenaries felt cold all over as they swallowed their saliva and looked at this scene in disbelief. What was the identity of this woman? High-level mirage beast. That was a high-level mirage beast. It actually took the initiative to invite a human to sit on its back. You know, all magical beasts had their own dignity. Even if one managed to tame a normal magical beast, it would take a long time to train it into one's own beast. Not to mention the high and mighty high-level mirage beast. To let a human ride on its back was a disgrace to the mirage beast. They were absolutely dreaming. This was absolutely a dream. Under everyone's shocked gaze, the high-level mirage beast turned around and carried Yiqing Luo into the depths of the forest. Yiqing Luo sat steadily on the back of the mirage beast. This seemingly hard as steel fur was exceptionally soft. Seeing the high-level phantom beast carrying her away, she subconsciously turned her head and looked in the direction of the treetops. The man in snow-white clothes was still standing in the wind with his hands behind his back. His jet-black hair fluttered in the wind, and his tall and straight figure exuded an aura that looked down on the world. That ordinary-looking face seemed especially unfathomable. Separated by a long distance, Yiqing Luo could still see the gentleness between the man's brows. As if sensing her gaze, the man's thin lips curled up slightly as he spat out two silent words. Yiqing Luo's heart suddenly skipped a few beats. She understood Dmo Xian's lips. Her cheeks suddenly flushed red. She turned her head away as if she was fleeing, no longer looking at him. He said, "I'll wait for you." She covered her chest with her fair hands as she felt her heart racing uncontrollably. This man, he had really put his flirting skills to good use. The right place, the right time. Coincidentally, it made her heart flutter. The high-leveled mirage beast's speed was extremely fast. Yiqing Luo could only feel the oncoming wind blowing against her face, biting cold. But the scorching temperature on her face could not be reduced by the gusts of wind, until the high-level mirage beast brought her to the depths of the forest and stopped in front of a huge cave. Chapter 239. After arriving at the door, the high-level mirage beast swept its tail and dragged Yiqing Luo to the ground. Following that, the three high-level mirage beasts quickly transformed into ordinary leopard beasts. The little mirage beast also transformed into a little leopard with the same size as Chi-Chi and followed her mother. The four mirage beasts led Yiqing Luo into the cave. The cave was pitch black and the eyes of the beasts were emitting a faint green light, looking particularly eerie. Yiqing Luo had nothing to worry about. She didn't feel the slightest hostility from these mirage beasts. These mirage beasts probably had something to say to her. Not knowing how long they had walked, Yiqing Luo finally saw a glimmer of light. The four mirage beasts stopped in their tracks. This was the deepest part of the cave, surrounded by rock walls, and four luminous pearls were hanging on the four walls. The four mirage beasts sat on their knees. "Human, why are you able to form a contract with the greatest ancestor of the sacred beasts?" The high-level mirage beast's eyes swept over Chi-Chi and finally fell on Yiqing Luo. In the hearts of the mirage beasts, the ancestors of the sacred beasts were eternal legends in their hearts. It couldn't understand why one of the ancestors of the sacred beasts, the white tiger, would form a contract with an ordinary cultivator. Not waiting for Yiqing Luo to answer, the high-level mirage beast continued in a deep voice. "In the secret history of the beasts, our four great sacred beasts' ancestors used to be all-powerful and finally formed a contract with the Emperor of Gods. They followed the Emperor of Gods to conquer all the realms, sweeping the Nirvana realm and even the upper realm, creating countless legends." Speaking of the ancestors of the beasts, the high-level mirage beast's eyes were full of pure admiration. The only master of the sacred beasts is the Emperor of Gods. Why? After the Emperor of Gods has been asleep for thousands of years, why did he choose an ordinary cultivator? The mirage beast's question was directed at Chi-Chi. Listening to the high-level mirage beast talking about the secret history of the sacred beasts, Yiqing Luo's heart was filled with a strange feeling. She was also puzzled about this question. Old Man Tsang said that Chi-Chi was one of the four ancient sacred beasts, the white tiger. Then why did the sacred beast choose her? Chi-Chi sat upright on Yiqing Luo's shoulder. A pair of dark tiger eyes quietly gazed at the high-level mirage beast. Although it was small, its whole body emitted the majesty of a sacred beast, causing the illusory beast to lower its head. However, he did not give up on this question. "Lord Holy Beast, why did you choose her?" "Awu." Chi-Chi remained silent for a while before letting out a low howl. Yiqing Luo couldn't understand Chi-Chi's words, but the mirage beast could understand. Its eyes widened for a moment as it looked at Yiqing Luo in astonishment. However, in the blink of an eye, the beast's eyes returned to their previous tranquility. "Human." The phantom beast suddenly lowered its body and lay on the ground. When the other two magical beasts saw this, they immediately followed behind it and did the same thing. This was the symbol of the highest etiquette of the illusory beast race. "Human, can this beast ask you for a favor?" The phantom beast's voice was a bit hoarse. Yiqing Luo frowned slightly as her gaze swept back and forth between Chi-Chi and the mirage beast. The expression on her face was slightly solemn. "You speak first." The mirage beast licked its mouth and seemed to use all its strength to speak word by word. "I hope you can contract Jewar." One sentence stirred up thousands of waves. The little mirage beast roared a few times and stuck out its mouth to rub against the mirage beast's body, as if to say that it didn't want to leave. Contract this little mirage beast? Yiqing Luo understood that the reason why the mirage beast made this request was because of Chi-Chi's beast language. Chapter 240. A human who can form a contract with a sacred beast is bound to be able to walk the path of the strong. The mirage beast's eyes were full of seriousness. It nudged the little mirage beast's body, indicating it to lie down. Although the little mirage beast was somewhat unwilling, it still obediently lay down beside its mother. This beast hopes that can become a high-level mirage beast. The mirage beast continued, "Following this beast, it will never be able to grow and..." It paused, its eyes revealed a sad emotion, "and it is not loved by the leopard clan." Yiqing Luo thought of the beast tide, when the little mirage beast was kicked and abandoned by several high-level leopard mirage beasts. When it looked at those mirage beasts, it touched her. "Human, I believe you will take good care of my son," and lead him to the peak of the strong. The mirage beast's eyes were sincere. Yiqing Luo was silent. At first, she was indeed infected by the little mirage beast's eyes, and was very interested in it. But this little mirage beast was not abandoned by the other beasts, it had a mother who loved it. If she formed a contract with it, wouldn't it separate mother and son? Looking at this mirage beast's reluctance to part with the little mirage beast. Human, are you willing to listen to a story? Seeing Yiqing Luo remain silent for a long time, the mirage beast sighed softly. Yiqing Luo was slightly stunned and nodded. The mirage beast climbed up from the ground, flicked its tail, and walked towards the corner of the cave. Yiqing Luo followed closely. Half a stick of incense later. Ending the conversation with the mirage beast, Yiqing Luo stared at the little mirage beast for a long time. If it is willing, I can form a contract with it. The little mirage beast raised its head, its brown eyes blinked. I swear, it will be my eternal partner. Yiqing Luo's eyes were firm. In my heart, it has the same position as Chi-Chi. Woof woof, Chi-Chi leaped onto Yiqing Luo's shoulder, rubbed her cheek, indicating that it agreed with all the master's decisions. Yiqing Luo's pink lips slightly hooked up into an amiable arc, stretched out her hand to the little mirage beast. If you are willing, come with me. Be it humans or beasts, they all have their own set of survival rules. If you want to have the ability to protect yourself and your loved ones, you must have undefeatable strength. If you want to possess such power, the only way is to keep fighting, keep challenging, and keep accumulating and growing. Are you willing to grow with me? The little mirage beast listened attentively to Yiqing Luo's words, its eyes sparkled incessantly. Yiqing Luo's words were exactly what it was thinking. But the little mirage beast knew that if it contracted with Yiqing Luo, it would never be able to see its mother again. The tiny claws hesitated for a long time, unable to take a step towards Yiqing Luo. Go, child. She will train you until you become strong enough. I will see you again. The magical beast choked with sobs, licked the little magical beast's fur, and immediately used its head to nudge the little magical beast's body. The small magical beast growled a few times. Slowly he walked towards Yiqing Luo and stood in front of her. Yiqing Luo's lips curled up into a smile, the feather fan streaked across her fingertips, a drop of blood dripped onto the forehead of the little mirage beast. A ray of light shrouded the both of them. A diamond-shaped mark appeared on the forehead of the little mirage beast. The contract was completed. Human? Thank you. When it saw the diamond-shaped mark, the eyes of the mirage beast flashed with tears. This mark expressed Yiqing Luo's intentions. This was the lowest level of contract among the beast clans, peace contract. The contracted beast clan could choose to terminate the contract with the consent of the master at any time, and would not suffer any backlash or punishment. The mirage beast closed its eyes, its heart was completely at ease. You're tuning in to the Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.